Hello, I am Quinny, welcome to the channel. In this video today guys, we're back in the tactics room. Now I've been long kind of looking for the right phrase to stick onto this topic. I've previously called it the mega rare and it fell out my mouth in a spaces or in a stream or something recently, and I thought I have to write that down because I've been looking for that term for so long and I finally caught it. You'll have seen it, it's the title of the video, the false super rare. Okay, so we're going to get stuck into this. There will be some of these guys in your gallery, in your club already. If not, you might be looking for them. We're going to talk about it today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share and retweet, all that good stuff guys, and let's get stuck in. Now, long as it's been discussed, how many super rares do you really need to compete in D3? The answer is none, really, you know. But with the changes we've got coming down the pipeline at the 27th of May, we're going to get an increase in the prizes. So the main thing a lot of people are focused on at time of recording, 12th of May 2021, is the new progression feature, the new progress bar, the Academy Link, all that stuff that will probably be another 6 weeks or whatever down the road. Between now and then, we're going to get a massive increase in the reward structure payout, and there'll be a lot of people maybe just carrying on as is without realising you can maybe compete at a slightly higher level than what you have done. In my gallery, in my club, and on the streams and everything, I do my best to make my lineups as varied and as interesting as possible when we're doing the streams, you know, and you'll quite often see, for example, over the last like 2 months or so, I always go in Asia D3, and it's not really deliberately by design, but I've just kind of happened to have a configuration for this. But the super rare most people avoid buying as their first one is a goalkeeper, and when you go into D3 most people want to get 2 super rares. So I've kind of been going into Asia D3 with just 1 super rare, which is a goalkeeper, and then just a stack of rares on top of it. And what that's really highlighted to me, and I was actually able to do that I think with no super rares the very first iteration of the new scoring metric. Yeah, the very first week of the new scoring mechanism that we're, you know, the scoring iteration, the matrix as you know it today, the very first ever game week of that, I put this team into Champion Asia D3, no super rares, and we finished 7th. And as you can see, we were only, bearing in mind how low the goalkeeper and the forward scored, and we could have made a better choice on captain. You'll be able to see how far off we were the top spots. 60 points, which, you know, between those 3 things, you know, striker could have done a bit better, goalkeeper could have done a little bit better, and a better choice of captain. We could have won that league with 5 rares very comfortably, very easily. We still finished 7th, which is cool. And I finished 7th in this region a few weeks ago with the super rare goalkeeper that I was just explaining to you. But I always try and push my gallery into these situations where I can try and maybe punch above my weight and I might get a little bit lucky. And what that has really hammered home to me in terms of a lesson is that there is some rares out there that are just as powerful as a lot of other super rares. What I've got on the screen right now, this is the rankings page on SoRare data. So on the left hand side of the screen, if you scroll all the way down on the left hand side to rankings, it's behind my camera so you won't see it, but when you're on the website, rankings and then players, and it'll bring it up for you. Now what you can see with the top 10 here, certainly you take away Lewandowski, maybe Insigne, a lot of these guys, or maybe Kikuchi, a lot of these guys are quite affordable. You know, guys like Junior Ito, Berghuis, Tadic, Coates, you know, they're not, when I say they're affordable, they don't cost you what Mbappe or Kimmich will cost you. And then even when you go into the next 10 behind that, Botehin, DePaul, Bongonda, I don't really know why Vela's still in there, Rasmussen, Proper, Arana, Marioka, Depay at number 20, and Noah Lang in there as well. Again, a lot of these guys aren't, in the grand scheme of things, the top most expensive players. Now if you've got guys that are able to churn out 70 pluses as a rare, then these guys can become, in your D3 situation, what I call the false super rare. Okay, another example I would probably point to you for, and something for you to keep in mind when you're building your lineups and when you are thinking about that D3 step up, is, for example, like when I've set out my D3 in this game week, I'll just wait for it to load. Oh, boom, that was quick. When I've set out my D3s in this game week, we managed to do quite okay across them both, okay? But the super rares are the super rares, and then what I always look for with my captain, as you'll have seen earlier on in this playlist, how to pick your captain, is I try and captain the guy that I wish I could make a super rare. And with that kind of mindset in my head always, that the rares are not really that far away from the production of the super rare. All they need really is that captain bonus or a massive XP bonus if you've really leveled them up. Then you can get much closer to prizes than what you maybe think. Me entering the Asia region, I only enter the Asia region at D3 level because it's not a region I'm overly invested in financially or time wise, you know. And I think if I'm going to win, because let's call a spade, right? If you're going into D4s right now and you're going to win, you're going to get top 10. That lineup will probably do quite well across any D4 that would be eligible to go into. But if you've got enough of these false super rares, these guys that can shoot, I'll just pull the screen back up again. These guys that can shoot into the 70s as a rare by themselves, you know, or even get really lucky with the goalkeeper, then these are the scores that will propel you, you know, because my super rare Nemeka has only grabbed me net less than 60 points, you know, for a striker that's not scored a goal. So having a guy like T&Cs as a defender who's bringing home 86 points net after multiplier, then hopefully this kind of paints the picture. You need to get lucky, of course. You need to pick the right players. You need to know the fixture. You need to know the form. But I definitely wouldn't, you know, some of those lineups where you're like, you know what, this is really strong, and if it's going to go good, do I want to compete against 6,000 guys in D4, or will I compete against 500 guys in D3? That is a sacrifice you're making because, you know, well, let's say it like this. You could potentially finish like 4th in D3. You might have won D4. In that situation, winning D4, of course, would probably be more beneficial. But the example I'm for myself personally with the Asia region, a lot of those cards don't go into other lineups, and I wouldn't enter that lineup into anything higher or anything less because of different reasons or whatever. But point being, if you have one or two super rares and you're like, do you know what, this one plays and this one doesn't, don't force the lineup with the crap super rare or the super rare that's unripe. You know, they're not in form, they're not in the team every week. Play the team that's get the best chance of scoring well. You know, T&Cs shooting 80 points before multiplier is going to be a valuable card in any division. You know, you could put that into D2 as your only rare, for example, and that would do a great turn for you. That's easy to say when you know the score he's going to produce, of course, right? But please bear in mind that the difference in scoring is so... don't get me wrong, it is significant, but depending on the actual output of the individual player, it can be absolutely nothing. You know, it can actually be I've seen myself put out D3 lineups and a super rare like that in the Nemeka I just showed you brings home a 50, and I've got a rare and a crap lineup that I just didn't have anywhere to put who brings home an 80, and you're thinking, why the fuck did I just put that 80 in there? That'd have been much better. So what I would say, guys, the whole real point of the video is try and make sure when you're buying guys, or even when you're assessing your gallery in your club, that you earmark these guys as, that's my false super rare. And you know, Jordan Larson's a really good example for me because I picked him up as a rare, really enjoyed having him, loved the kind of, you know, just loved the card and everything that came around it. You don't need me to explain to you why. And then the opportunity came for me to get his super rare, and it was a very easy decision to make because I'd already had the guy, I'd already experienced his form, I'd got my finger on the pulse with the club and all that kind of stuff. So buying that super rare becomes even easier. Whereas if it's a guy that I've got no attachment to, I've not getting experience of tracking and following, and I'm maybe dipping into the market to go pick up the super rare, maybe like in the Nemeka, then it can be a wee bit shaky, you know. Like the Nemeka's not always done amazing for me. I'll put him up on screen now so you can see. He still won me some good cards and stuff like that, don't get me wrong. But when I first buy this super rare, I need to take a couple of weeks to maybe a month to really get that ebb and flow of where his form is, you know, is standing in the team, all that kind of thing. You know, how many minutes does he really get? How many shots does he get? You know, you can look at this stuff in an app and extrapolate it out and make the purchase, but it's so different to feeling it. And as you can see, we've had this Nemeka for... Does it tell us here when we bought him? I know it tells us somewhere, maybe not on this page. We've had him since about February or something like that, and as you can see, he's got me top 10 3 times, you know, which is decent. His score percentages are actually really low for a super rare in terms of the contribution he's made to the wins. But the cards we've picked up, T&Cs, Vlasic, Barco and Odilon, 4 amazing cards that this guy's picked me up. So he kind of proves the point and unproves it all at once. So sometimes the super rare that can be quite average. But my point being is, if you've got that one super rare that you can nail your hat onto, don't be shy. Don't, you know, go into D3 if you've got the right cards elsewhere, rares that you think, I've got a shit hot D4 and I've got an amazing super rare, but I don't have another super rare to pair them with. You don't need it. You've got that shit hot D4. Take your super rare, put him in for the weakest link and go D3 and see how it goes. I promise you, like, for the amount of times I go into Asia D3, I've maybe pulled like 4 rewards out of that since that game week I showed you earlier on in the video, and it's from finishing like 7th, 18th, nothing amazing, but you know, I dare say that's a much better result than I would get in D4, and I'm quite happy to know that that lineup, you know, 8 weeks out of 10 isn't going to do much, and I'm not going to pay it too much attention. I'm not going to feel too down on myself when it backfires and it doesn't pay off. And equally then, I'm puffing my chest out and putting my shoulders back when it hits, and I'm going, look at me, 1 super rare or no super rares, I'm killing it. So the false super rare guys, how many of them do you have in your gallery? Do you have any? Are you eyeing some up? If you're struggling for inspiration, that rankings list on SoRare data is probably one of the best places to get started, because you're looking for those rares that will consistently knock out 60 pluses, and you know 70 pluses are achievable given the right fixture and the right circumstances. Okay, that's been it for this episode of the Tactics Room, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you haven't checked out the rest of the playlist, I'm going to link it at the end of this video so you can go back and have a wee check through all that. Like, subscribe, share, retweet, all that good stuff, guys. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.